Just to pass out.
I have agendas here, yes.
Oh,
I
good.
I only brought an extra one.
Oh,
Only one.
I guess.
Let me have one.
Okay.
I could do with that.
I'm gonna
I'll do that.
some.
Everybody should, you have it on the computer. Is everybody else okay?
He's gonna go.
You'll make some more.
Oh,
Right.
great.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Waterloo Valley Conservation Commission. Today is April 24th, 2025. It's 1:02, and we're gonna call the meeting to order. So let's start with the roll call. John, we'll start with you.
John Racine, ex officio.
Kelly Cannon, alternate.
Charles Hastings, vice chair. I
Oh,
guess.
yes.
Paul Ricotta, Chair.
Garrett Levy, member.
Cliff Lubitz, alternate,
How do you spell your last name?
L-U, B as in boy, I-T-Z. First name's Cliff.
Okay.
One F or two?
Cindy Pecos, member.
Steph Lebec.
Petition.
Yeah, potential alternate.
Rebecca Hastings, member.
Jenny Lucas member. And Steph, how do you spell your last name? Labeck. Labeck.
L-A-B,
LAB.
that's what I did.
And Patrick.
Patrick Marr, alternate.
Okay.
And then switch.
Okay. Not yet. Okay. All right. So it looks like we've got everyone here. The full commission is here. So we will not need to seat alternates
Seat
today,
anyone.
but we welcome obviously your input and happy to have you here. All right. So the first order of business is to review and approve the minutes on March 18th. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Charles did an excellent job noting a
And
couple,
Becca did.
and Becca, excellent job noting the couple.
Yeah, and the only thing that it's a little picky maybe. I, as a member, have been sworn in as Rebecca, so
Oh,
I
okay.
just thought
Oh.
it was best to keep it consistent.
Okay.
That if I make a motion or whatever, that it's Rebecca.
Okay.
Because it could be, who knows, there could be somebody floating around that's by Becca.
All right.
Welcome to calling
Oh, we
Becca.
made the changes to the minutes with all sides.
So even in school, you can.
So if anybody needs to review the minutes, I have a copy here. Everybody's good? All right.
Did you?
If there's no comments, I guess we'll take a motion to approve the minutes. Would someone
I'll
like
make a
to?
motion.
Okay, hear it.
I'll second.
All right.
All in favor?
All in favor? Any questions or discussion? All right, we'll go right to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, all right, first order of business complete. So let's move on to the next item here, which is the town update. I don't see Mark here yet, so maybe we'll just come back to that.
Can I do a point of order?
Yes.
I noticed with some horror on the town website, which has listed the new chair correctly and listed me as both vice chair and secretary.
Oh, that's because that's what I
And I
was.
thought, oh my God.
So guess who he shoved it off on?
Well,
Becca.
I see two people taking.
Oh, were you doing minutes? Oh, okay. Oh, I said, told you I'd be happy to do it.
Good.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
practicing.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
When you leave.
Can I ask
office.
a question?
Sure.
Jenny Lucas, are you still on schedule leaving?
I think so. Yeah.
This is a year from now.
I
Right.
think maybe 1 or 2 more months.
I didn't
Hopefully
hear
two.
definite.
I don't have a definite move-in date yet, so, but.
He said, I think so.
Yeah.
So that means maybe.
Okay.
So we'll see what we can do. And if you have some suggestions on the website, if you want.
Well, is there an official position of secretary? I don't know.
I mean, I think I was, I
Both.
still
I
am,
think
I
you were
guess.
both.
Yeah,
thought
I was
so,
both,
yeah.
yeah. So I can retain secretary.
Carry on as secretary, and if for some reason in the next year or two you decide to leave,
Yeah.
we can make arrangements to have someone else become official secretary
Is my name still on there?
as a rep,
Okay, all right.
as a member, whatever it's called.
So they can just write secretary.
All right, we'll get that. Have Steve take care of that. So we'll postpone item 3 until Mark is with us. All right, so let's move on to item 4, which was have John Racine up next. That's for the planning board update.
Okay, yeah, so, the planning board also had a shift in the regime.
Right.
It's no longer the Racine planning board. Bill Spence is now the
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah.
And Morgan is secretary. And Kathy Brennan is now the vice chair
Okay.
of the planning board.
Okay.
So that all changed.
I-
I stepped down only because of, I did my time and it was time for someone else to.
So this wasn't a coup d'etat.
No, very well planned. It worked out pretty good. We discussed, just that different members and, different positions, just that pretty much. And then the chair took over and just discussed procedures of the board, so we all know the procedures here, right, everyone? Yes?
Yes,
Mhm.
sure.
Bill Spence, the chair, had a question. He wrote, Mr. Retired C. Preservations of the trail up Cascade Ridge. Beside the 2 large new homes comes to mind. Is this still available for hikers? Does anybody know where that area is?
I would think BIA would know that.
Yeah, is he talking about the cross-country trail that goes up?
No, the
They
hiking
just-
trail.
Cascade?
Yeah, just.
You know, the trail that goes
Below
to
the
Cascade,
steps?
the falls,
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
starts down at
Below.
below,
the
yeah.
cross-country trail that goes up past the brand new house on Cascade Ridge is still a trail and is still open.
Okay,
And then it goes into the woods, it's still a trail.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
there on up,
Yeah.
it's
The trail,
Cascade Trail hasn't changed.
Right.
It
Yeah,
just
it-
got moved a little bit, that's all. Yeah.
yeah, it goes on the wood line and up to the woods there. But I
Yeah.
think I know the part you're talking about.
yep,
So like Lower Snows, the ski trail, the cross-country trail goes that way, and the other trail kind of goes up through the woods, crosses
Right.
over Cascade Ridge and
Right.
Road, and then up that.
Beautiful stairway.
There you go.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
goes
orange.
there.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
have the first time a couple
exactly.
weeks ago. However, okay, so you go through the woods and you come out again onto Cascade Ridge Road. and
Yeah.
You cross the street and there are more stairs.
Yep.
And then the trail goes into the woods. In the past, you used to be able to go straight.
Yeah.
But they built, that's the
house.
second new house maybe that Bill is talking about, and that owner has closed off access, so you cannot walk through that trail anymore. But the actual Cascade Ridge Trail is fine,
okay,
but that other access was private property and it has been shut
Mm.
off.
Okay.
oh, wow,
Yeah, so it used to be an old ski trail. and
Right.
yeah,
It's pretty obvious. They built trees and put rocks, like you'd be clearly trespassing if you if you tried to
do
do it.
that, so.
I know. It's just the way the
Okay,
world.
I'll let
is.
them know that, all right,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
So is there some way for AIA if people want, if they happen to have property near trails, can they just overtake those trails or do they
Yes.
have to?
They can.
They can, okay,
They
That's
have to
true,
esta-
you're-
Yeah, they have to establish an easement
yeah.
and I think we just have to start encouraging people to do that
To do that.
more.
Yeah.
'Cause I actually was on the trail yesterday and I was like, okay, where do I go here?
Okay, great, thank
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Cause I was quite surprised that it had disappeared.
They
Um,
probably do need to beef up, this is an AIA question, though. They probably need to beef up their signing a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, or the
With the
modification,
new-
maybe the side, it just
More
points to
spots.
the right, that point where you can't go. First.
So I'm also a member on the AIA, so I'll let them know
Yeah.
on the board. I'll keep them in the loop as well.
It sounds like you just have to revert them back to the original trail. as
Yep.
opposed to-
And we are, the AIA is indeed involved in trying to upgrade and improve signage this summer.
Mm,
Good.
yeah,
Charles is also in,
so am I.
So,
and you are.
It's needed.
So we kind of cross over a little bit, so that's a good
Crossover.
question.
That's
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Thank you,
That's-
Mr. Chair.
do you have any other updates for us, business,
Uh,
anything like that? No?
I think
Other
that's
business?
it.
That's it?
Yeah,
Okay, well, thank you,
I
John.
know.
We're gonna keep you on board for the next thing in the old business section, which, are there any questions for John before we No, no?
In
Okay,
case people don't know, AIA is our hiking club, WVAIA.
I'm
just-
gonna ask a question to
Athletic and Bruce.
put towards VAIA. Now that the dam is down and the water's out, would it behoove us as members to go in while the water's out with muck boots to try to get some of that garbage out of that pond before they fill it again?
I like the idea.
One
But-
or two.
Liability.
We have to talk with, I think the town, the select board.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Because they fixed the boards.
Oh, they did.
They were there
Oh, it's gonna
yesterday.
fill
Yeah.
up.
So it's gonna fill
Yesterday I
up
walked
quick.
by and
Yeah,
it was
they were there
still-
yesterday. And I
still
was just
to the
thinking,
side.
while there's no water, that we can
Yes.
access it to get some of the debris that settled in there from that last rainstorm and was held by the ice to get it out of there.
You know what? Maybe Eric and I can check with the select board chair,
Okay?
and see if he would allow us to do that.
If
It's gotta
so,
be
just
done quick, right?
put a note out because I'm sure Rick Smith would help. I would be in there. I got my new boots to wear in there.
Yeah, I just bought some.
I don't know,
Just to-
I am very reluctant to do that, thinking about the muck. You can't just walk into
You
the.
don't know how deep it is.
Well,
It's
right,
muck,
it is
It's-
muck, you're right, but the water isn't
Yeah.
what's exposed.
yeah.
Charles, there's no water there right now. It's damp, it's wet, but there's stuff that we could probably reach.
Mm,
Yeah, there's a sandy side to
Yeah.
that, and
Uh-huh.
there's a muck.
Muck
on
side.
the other
right, We'll
side.
talk to Rich, okay.
But Eric, do you think you could just?
Yep.
Send out a quick note to
Mhm.
the select board chair?
It was just something I thought of
a good
driving.
It's a great
by.
idea.
Yeah.
I
Like,
thought
while
of
it was
too,
down.
yeah.
is it, but it's starting to fill up, isn't it? Because the boards are in?
It
No.
it wasn't this morning when I went by.
Okay,
I would like to have it not fill up and maybe they could put the dashboard out until we get in there if we get permission.
right.
Okay,
I think
Save
it's a great
everybody
idea.
some
Good
time
idea.
and effort. You know, those of us that are willing to do it.
Because it can't wait till the cleanup day for sure, because
No,
No,
the
it'll
pond
they'll
will
be
be
feeling
full.
full by then.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that stuff is gonna surface. I
It's a
don't
great
know.
idea. All right,
Anyway,
so we can try to figure out, and
Okay.
maybe
I
we
just-
could have like a little unofficial meeting over there, like kind of like the
That's fine.
flowers through this past week.
oh, I have
I won't.
private
actually come up with
privilege of the
something.
floor. I've got more stuff on the flower stuff.
Right,
Oh.
all right, so let's move into old business. And John, we're gonna go back to you. I don't know if you did much of an update here or not.
For the 13 acres?
Yeah, so if there's, I think we had discussed last time about what the process would be. Charles had started that discussion a bit on
Yeah.
what the process is to reclassify the zoning.
The good news is the town owns it now. So what will happen is
It's this one.
I think
No,
the-
no.
the word will get out as to what you want, what does the town want to do with this? And they'll come up with a bunch of ideas, and I'm sure we'll be voting on this at some point at the town meetings. But right now it's quiet. No ideas, nothing going forward, other than we own the land. Happy? Everyone's happy.
Can I ask a question? I thought that there had to have been another state thing coming in to approve that there was no bad stuff down there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
as far as we know, Mark Dakota, seemed to think that everything was okay on that, right?
Okay, because the last I had heard that was a question that they were coming back in to revisit the site.
Yeah, I think it's a wait and see type of thing.
Is
if
it?
I
I
remember.
think it
Yeah.
was a level 2 they were doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
inspection on it. Right,
Okay,
but there's no word of, oh my God, this is bad or anything, so I think we're in good shape right now.
as long as there's no disturbance of the soil.
That's
Well,
what-
my perspective on this is, it's great just to sit and wait.
Yeah,
We have no urgency. I don't think even if we somehow, as a commission, were to get complete control over all 13.5 acres, we would decide to do nothing. I guess.
Yeah, that's what we're
So,
hoping.
this is a great situation where doing nothing and not getting around to doing anything is in our interest.
Do nothing till you hear
I
from.
mean, I
me.
don't think we really, as a commission, want to do really, from what I've heard, anything there except to keep the two trails open.
Agreed. Okay, Mr. Chair,
Okay,
we're good.
all right, we're good. All right. So let's move on to item B, which is any updates here on from Rick Vanderpool and the Snows Brook remediation project?
No updates yet, but the tentative plan was for summertime.
Okay.
So that's a good reminder to
Okay.
text him or write him. Like,
Will,
when are you coming, please? We need you. Yeah. Yeah.
But that catch basin at the end is out of, that's not in contention anymore. We can't do it, right?
I think
From
it's
the
out of the,
EP
I
I
think,
think it's out
yeah,
of the budget, yeah.
yeah.
Well, also, I thought
Mm.
EPA said,
They said that the last time, I think,
Mm.
but I thought we were gonna try to.
Mm.
I mean, it's an environmental thing. You would think they would be in favor of it.
is there any way we can pursue finding out about whether they would agree to us doing something like that? That filtration catch basin?
so I think that
You can ask.
because Erin and I are pretty close to Rick Vanderpool's contacts,
Okay,
we can keep in touch with him and just let everyone know in the group know.
That's a good question for him, though, I think.
I agree.
okay,
Yeah.
He can
that's
answer
good.
that.
It would just
He would
be
know.
good to get an answer whether we could or could not, even if we could go dig it.
Oh, my God.
Hey.
Is there, are the
So-
alternates, do you know who Rick Vanderpool is?
I don't know.
Okay, and Eric, can you explain
Yeah,
to them who Rick is?
all right. So Rick Vanderpool is our ecosystems specialist. And he has helped us with our NRI, the Natural Resource Inventory that we completed 5 years ago and almost due. You should put this on your agenda for next year, maybe. We'll have to do another one soon. And the proposal that we're hinting at is the mitigation, the sediment mitigation plan. That's been pretty much approved. Is that right? Steve isn't here.
He isn't here.
Okay. Pretty much approved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, despite a few setbacks.
and what they're gonna do is they're gonna
I
go
was gonna
up
say.
the river. That's
Snows-
over,
Snows-
Snows-
So if you,
yeah,
so if you look on this map here, you see where this flows into the pond here? See where the Snows Brook flows in? The idea is to use the natural channelization upstream that's in the woods, to use that kind of as like the default floodplain, so that sediment goes into those areas upstream before it goes into the pond. And
Yeah, and
the
then,
idea is to reduce the sediment
Yeah.
yes,
into the pond, so that doesn't, so it may prevent
Yeah.
more,
More
you know, frequent
sediment.
judgment, or dredging, not judgment, frequent, less frequent dredging of the pond.
Yeah.
That's kind of the concept.
so, yeah, we've been working at this for about 3 years.
yeah,
And I think he wanted to replace that one culvert with
Two culverts.
two culverts.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it involves like some drainage things and some
Yeah.
like channeling of the.
What are those called? They're like, they look
That's
like
kind of,
an
it's about.
oh,
H. Are
I
they
think they just call them box culverts.
box?
box culverts,
That's what
right?
it-
Yeah.
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 Regarding the, what do we call it, the retention
Basin,
basin?
yep.
I personally, I've never quite understood how that was gonna work, but in any case, I thought that was initially going to be bundled in with the project to dredge the
The
pond,
dredging.
Mhm.
which is on indefinite hold.
Right,
I don't think that the retention basin was ever actually part of the Snows Brook remediation.
No.
No,
And so, if we're going to discuss it, it would be simply as a separate item. And I don't think, it needs to be linked into whatever Rick can get done this summer in
Okay.
terms of the remediation.
it would be nice, but yeah,
well, we
it's-
were hoping for an opinion from him.
Yeah.
As to,
because the
What to
purpose
do.
of that remediation or that detention section was that we would have it, they would be dug out we would be able to go in and clean the sedimentation that would come downstream
Sure.
to alleviate the flow into the pond. So that, and it was to be cleaned out, I think, yearly.
And this basin was to be built on which side of Valley Road?
This
The
side,
pond side,
The ponds.
pond side,
Right, so
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
yeah, not part of Rick's property.
Mhm.
But I do remember one of the meetings that Rick attended here, he's all in favor of it. He thinks it's a pretty crucial, if we're gonna dredge, he said. You pretty much,
Well, you heard how
Should
much
put
it's
it
gonna
in
be
there.
to dredge.
It did.
Yeah.
It's off the record.
Sounds like.
Right.
So this
something
project, we
should
have a sort of a grant that's been kind of rolling over to pay for that.
Stupid.
That's kind of the idea, so.
But we're trying to alleviate having to dredge that pond as often if we decide, if the town and the townspeople decide to go through with it.
As I understand it, the scaled back plans for Snowsbrook remediation this summer is to do just some of the work upstream on the brook in terms of putting in some places where the brook would be forced to overflow into its flood bank in high water. And that there, I think this, he still plans to cut through the north bank a few hundred yards upstream from the bridge, so that when it floods, it will spill over onto the north side, and some of that will then flow down into our green belt 32C. And that being the case, we probably do want to make sure that this project this summer includes replacing, I think, 2 of the culverts that cut underneath the pond loop trail, because otherwise there's a lot of water cutting down. It could do some damage to the cross-country trail, which would be expensive to repair. Yeah.
Charles, I have a question for you. That greenbelt land, were you gonna continue a trail in through there? And we're gonna continue that?
He has some great ideas.
Okay,
I
Yeah,
printed the
that's last
pictures.
night.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Mr. Chair, it depends on where you want to.
Yeah, we can do that in the privilege of the floor. We can
Okay.
discuss that. I think it's gonna,
Okay.
I
All right.
think that was, I think that's in its conceptual stages,
I know.
if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Happy to discuss it. Just ideas. I'm curious to get feedback from people think.
Right. Okay, so is that a good update for everyone on the Snowsbrook remediation project?
Yep.
Alternates, you've got we can talk about it. I can
Yeah.
send you out there if you want to go look
Yeah.
at the actual natural channeling and things. It's kind of interesting to walk upstream and look at that. But if you're interested, but we'll be talking about that from time to time because it's ongoing effort of this commission, so. Okay, so let's move on to some of these other things that we have on our agenda for item C, the snow management. Salt usage flyer, insert, whatever you want to call it. So we had kind of agreed at the last meeting that this would be an avenue that we would pursue to try to help educate the property owners in the valley through the use of a insert in the water bill. To just basically come up with some factual information about salt usage and its potential adverse effects of overuse. And try to make people aware of that and kind of come up with some ideas on how that could be done, explain some of the concepts of how salt works, I guess, in the most remedial sense, and why the usage affects pets, affects other things in the ecosystem potentially, and try to just increase awareness. It's one of our kind of educational outreach options that we've come up with for the commission. So
I
does
love that.
does anybody have
Honestly,
anything
my
else?
little pet peeve.
Yeah.
I am happy, so, although I'm not going to be here next winter for sure, but, I am happy to put a rough draft together of a potential flyer. I think it's like little, so.
Yeah, it'd be like a little, probably like a little,
Yeah, so whatever I can put together some ideas and we can talk about it at the next meeting. And I can also, just looking at the minutes from the last meeting, work on maybe drafting a letter that could be appropriate to send to condo associations and or property managers,
Good
or
idea.
both.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to do that for the next meeting. And
Okay,
I can,
excellent.
I can circulate it to anyone else ahead of, I can put it, take a stab and then give it to someone else
Okay.
and
Yep.
have everyone add on
Sounds
to it. or
good.
whatever.
Perfect. So that sounds really good, Jenny. So I think some of the concepts that we had talked about at the last meeting was the fact that the intensity of salt usage to get the same effect in a less traveled area, you have to use more salt because there's less vehicular traffic to swirl it around to serve as a catalyst to get the salt going. So just to make people aware of maybe some of these general ideas, not to get too technical or in the weeds about it, but just to make people understand that there are costs associated with that salt usage and, and both monetary and potentially environmental. So that's kind of the gist of it. So Jenny, I know has some ideas on this too, so we'll, as long as we keep that process moving along, we should be ready for October.
Yeah.
And that's the mailing will go in the
Mhm.
final quarter before the winter.
Mhm.
And if anybody wants to, knows any people or property management teams that work in the valley and you want to get their ideas, that's helpful too. Nothing official, but just talk to them about it, I guess. So make people aware.
Those conversations probably need to start soon with
Mm,
property managers as they're like
Yeah.
planning their
Exactly.
budget and
Mhm.
ordering.
Yeah, no, I think just more information gathering as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
See if it's of interest to people, to them. As we discussed before, a lot of the property managers are doing basically what their clients tell them to do, which is to use a lot of salt and keep the roads bare.
The
So,
other thing, I think, Paul, that not all of us use property management. We hire outside,
Mhm.
like I do.
Yeah. that's
He does
true.
not
Yeah,
use
nice.
salt
right,
or sand on my driveway. I get pet-friendly salt if I need to, but
Mhm.
this winter, knock on wood, with all-wheel drive vehicles, we haven't had to use anything.
Mm.
And it's done our tar surface.
Wow.
A lot of, yeah.
It's much
sure.
better
Mhm.
after a season without adding all of that
Mhm.
to the surface.
That's a steep driveway too.
It is, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, we have no problem getting up there with our four-wheel drives, all-wheel drives or whatever. Yep,
Good.
you get a running start, Charles, from the bottom.
Sure you do.
Yeah. And again, this is more directed toward the homeowner and the condo association, not so much at the town. But we've gotten some explanations from the town as to how they approach salt usage, and I think most of us feel pretty good about that the town is aware of its usage and its that type of stuff and what they're doing, and they're responsive to the changes in the weather, changes in the just overall sun angle, things like that. So this is more directed at making people aware of bad habits and how to maybe potentially curb them. So, makes sense?
Yes.
Yep,
So we'll keep cranking on that.
Good.
All right, and Jenny I guess, I have the three of us, myself, Charles
I
and
thought-
you as the.
Yeah, you were involved in
as the
this.
leads, but all of us can,
That, but
obviously, all of us will
He's a good proof.
review it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Questions? All right. Let's move on to new business. So we have first item A is Charles has been working with Cliff here to get him as an alternate on the board, on the commission. Oh, Cliff is here.
thank you.
Welcome. And did you want to say anything, Charles, or would you want to lead the? Oh, no.
Okay, sure.
Approval or whatever you want to say?
I became aware of the Lubitz, Los Lubitz, some months ago when there were some issues regarding the Snows Mountain Trail, the end of it cutting across their property, and that's when I first became aware of that on several different levels. There was also a plan being considered to change the zoning of the lot right next to them to make it, instead of golf course recreational, to make it low density resident.
Low density residential.
LDO.
And
yeah.
there, that was, that thankfully never actually had to become an issue, but anyway, I somehow or other was a party received or saw a copy of really a beautifully constructed many-page letter that Cliff
Lot of
put
questions.
together, and I thought this was a really compelling argument for all kinds of environmental and trail-friendly and recreational and good neighborly reasons. Boy, and it was actually well-written, there were no edits required.
Believe me, he looks at that.
So I thought, we're always on
We
the
need
lookout
this
for
smell
people
on our
in the,
committee.
in the
Commission.
Conservation Commission, so I had suggested it. He and I met.
Yeah.
It was an official meeting at La Tasse
It was
for
very
about an
official.
hour and a half. I think the coffee was free. I can't remember. Where did
For
you
you.
pay for it? For me.
Yeah, for you it was.
Anyway.
I think my daughter paid for it.
That could be. After our discussion, we realized, we both felt that it would be, it would be a great contribution to the commission if you wanted to serve. I think I had sent a recommendation to the select board, because I think it's the select board that actually makes decisions on who joins the commission. And here we are. So I'm glad that he's interested in joining us, and I think we could gain considerably from his input.
Great.
Perfect.
Well,
As Kelly's
thank you.
with her
Yes.
background and.
And
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great introduction.
that
Thank you,
was another
Charles.
cool- Getting you to-
Do we need to do any,
I don't
should we
think-
do, I don't, we need to approve or
Oh,
vote
we
or
should.
anything, or should we?
Well, we're going
I don't-
to send a note to the select board.
Okay.
Let them know what we're doing. So Kelly, you are certain that you're joining, right? Because you
Yes.
were unclear about that.
I think at the end of last meeting, I said,
Yes.
Perfect,
She's-
okay, so
Yeah.
that,
Awesome.
and you're joining us. And
Stephanie is.
Stephanie is is Patrick there?
Yes.
Hi, Patrick.
Hello.
So, hi. So Stephanie Lebec
yes,
has mentioned that she would like to be an alternate. And Patrick said he would be willing to step down because I offered him the position before he was asked to work full-time. So
Oh,
he has
my.
been,
Oh.
yeah, in high gear.
Yeah,
So-
I'm sorry, I can't fulfill my commitment. I think the commission would benefit from having an alternate that's more readily available to engage in these activities.
Okay. So you're not off the hook. I will be updating you on what we're doing. You're my neighbor. You're gonna hear it from me.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So did you
Yeah.
did someone want to make a motion
Make a
to
motion.
advance to Cliff's,
And Kelly.
and Kelly
I
to the
don't,
select board, or did you, I thought?
honestly, I don't know, just a
Yeah,
second, I don't know what role the commission has. I don't know.
I think we just have to send the name to,
Yeah,
move
we
it forward to the.
Send the
select board.
suggestions to select board, so they're aware, and then we notify Steve Royer to
Okay,
make the
okay,
changes
well, sure.
on the
that's fine.
website.
I don't know if we need a motion, or we just want to agree to send it forward.
Well, yeah, I spent 5 minutes talking about Cliff. Anybody? I just feel left out.
Cliff, did you want to say anything? Or you good?
No, I think,
No, I appreciate you welcoming me.
yeah.
So it's fantastic.
maybe backgrounds of, or why they're interested, Steph, you're the newbie, so,
That
yeah.
fish is just
Yeah.
a fishing.
I like to fly fish. I snowboard. I'm a snowboard instructor up at the
Wow.
mountain part-time. Yeah, I love the area. Want to keep it.
She's qualified.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
5:15.
oh, right,
Me too.
oh, wow,
Yeah. Want to give me tips? 'Cause
yeah.
So do you think this is something you want to do, Steph? Do you want, we
Yeah.
could put your name forward too for the alternate
Yes.
approval as well.
yeah, I'd like to go to like more meetings just
Yes.
to like get a
Mhm.
better like handle on everything.
Right.
But yes.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, good.
all right. So is everybody in agreement? We'll send the 3 alternate candidates to the select board for
Yeah.
notification?
Is all good with my background? Do you want me to? say
What's your
them?
You could be- you could-
Fascinating, so.
I have a degree in alpine ecology with a minor in outdoor education. I am a Nordic ski instructor here and I do classes for the rec department. I am an herbalist and do a lot of wildcrafting and foraging. I have a strong passion for clean air and clean water. And yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting some things, but that's the basis.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely.
excellent.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or we're good?
So for myself, I've spent almost, I'm relatively new to the valley. I spent about 25 years overseas in 40 different countries,
Wow.
primarily doing health, nutrition and environmental health. So, yeah, we feel really fortunate to be here with the family here.
Mhm.
Last time it was on the border of Afghanistan, in Tajikistan, so alpine environments.
Got it.
But, yeah, so I think there's a lot that can be done here in the valley. The trail system, which seems to quickly be getting fucked up. Yeah, we really have to figure out how to address this.
Mhm.
Like for us, we live right on the trailhead, and it would be, of course, I would buy the property with the intention of keeping access to the trails. And I cannot believe that we're selling properties and messing up the town and impeding the access to the trail system, which is crucial for tourism.
Yeah.
As well as the local population that live here. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for this committee to be quite instrumental in the future of this community.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
The letter that you sent to Charles with all
Yeah.
the
Well,
bullets
not to
that-
me, it was to
Yeah, it
the
was to the
select board.
town.
To the town.
It was to Mark and the town.
Do you think it would be advantageous for all of us here on the board to look at what your concerns are?
Well, for us, we worked it out with Craig, so there's not a concern in that regards. And we'll guarantee that as long as we own the property, there will be an easement and access to Snows Mountain Trail. That's a no-brainer. As far as the zoning, we spent several days trying to understand the town regulation. And kind of the rights of owners and the rights of the town and how development occurs and transitioning from different zonings. So I think there's a lot to learn. There's actually a lot consolidated in that letter, which is, I think, helpful for us. And just continuing to make a case on how to best be stewards of the land and the environment here. And I think things are going to change quite quickly under the current administration right now. Trump's announced that they want to start expanding logging. New Hampshire is one of those areas where expecting logging, but at the same time, there does need to be more forest management because there's so
Sure.
much dead wood
Yeah.
in the forest.
There
It's
is,
pretty scary.
it is.
Yeah, it's a huge
Fire.
fire in New Jersey right now. and
Yes.
It is gonna hit
It's getting-
Hampshire
Yeah.
at some point.
The
So
thing,
anyways, lots of stuff to talk
the
about.
thing that concerns me, I was unaware totally that the biggest landowner here in the state of New Hampshire is the federal government.
Yeah.
Federal government, so he can log wherever,
He can log, he can drill, he can mine.
he can do
And
everything.
And he will, and
Yes, he
they just
will.
announced today, they're gonna be expediting permits for doing all three of those.
So we need to be very strong with our reps in
Yeah.
Congress, et cetera, right? Like we have been for various things, keep writing to them, letting them know.
And to keep reminding, that what you hear from the select board and other town administration is, oh, it doesn't matter what we do in the town, we're surrounded by the forest.
No.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
It's up for grabs.
No.
Now it's up for grabs.
Yeah, and I reached out to, Patrick Pear with the fire chief, a year or so ago. I was like, goodness, what are we doing for fire prevention? My house, I don't think Jack and Gail Sanders had ever cut a tree, as long as they own the house.
Yeah.
Which is lovely, but also there's so much deadfall. And of course, as everyone knows, that hikes, and that's pretty scary.
That was.
The thing is, my house abuts the national forest, as you guys know. There's so much dead wood behind my house, especially after this past winter. That stuff ignites, forget it.
Yeah.
we're done. We're
Absolutely.
done.
Yeah.
It is so dry out there, as we all know, but just the down trees that are rotting and the fresh trees that have been cut
Yep.
are there on the trails. And they're still on the trails up there.
So not to digress, but definitely
Yeah.
a concern of mine is how we utilize the trail systems to increase the economy of the town and the well-being of the town, but also how we can protect and manage the forest better.
Agreed.
So if I could make a motion,
Mhm.
I move that the commission recommend to the select board that these three highly qualified individuals
Way more qualified.
that we are,
Yeah.
all three of them, please
Agreed.
be, we are recommending they be formally added and sworn in as alternates.
I'll second.
Second? Okay.
Oh,
All
we
in
all
favor?
second.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Excellent.
So we were just looking at the agenda. And since Mark isn't here, we're not talking about the hazard mitigation plan. Apparently this town has one. It's about 180 pages, and I addressed this a few years ago. And our dear fire chief at the time said that he would come to the Conservation Commission and address it. So we are due for that. It never happened. So the town, this is the town at the end of the road. We
Yeah.
need a plan
Ew.
to evacuate. That's number one.
If any of
So-
you were here for Irene,
Yes, I was here.
we were lucky, we still had 49.
Yeah, half 40.
Because of that S curve and the
Yeah.
way the river comes down.
Yeah.
We have no way out of here because if Triple I is closed
Mhm.
going through, even in case of a fire emergency, God forbid,
Mhm.
there's no way out of here. That
Right.
Triple I road was supposed to be the
Mm,
runoff to 93
Right.
and it was voted down.
Right.
So we are stuck between a rock and a hard spot.
So we would like to hear from our,
What did you
Chief.
mean? I'm sorry, the runoff to 93, I don't understand.
You know how they close off Triple I road in the winter?
Sure.
That was supposed to be a permanent road, tarred surface for the town to go all the way out to
Year
90
round.
yeah,
year round, and
Egress.
Cochran said no.
Well, I'm not in favor of that.
It's a double-edged sword.
it's.
It
no,
is a
it's like-
double-edged
It
sword.
traps us, but it keeps us.
Yeah,
keeps
I'm
it-
just
Yes.
thinking
Yes.
of Arola.
What?
I'm just thinking of Arola, how often they're closed off, and
It's not the end of the world.
it's not, yeah.
it's all right. We would like that addressed. So. We'll
Okay.
put it on the agenda.
And we'll
for
keep it on
next-
the agenda for next time. It's on there right now for the town update.
Mm.
Hazard mitigation. Maybe we can have either Mark or the chief give us some
Mhm.
insight into how that's
Yeah.
going. And
Let Mark address it first,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
if he feels that there's a need.
I think
for-
at the last meeting, Mark's he's interested in updating us on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yep, okay. So let's continue on with some new business then. Which is other educational incentives for the Conservation Commission. So I think now with, especially with the new alternates have spoken, there's some interest that they're gonna have as well, I think, in this area. And promoting some of the things, but some of the ideas that we had talked about playing off of Kelly's experience would be some educational opportunities for the community with respect to like native plants. And potentially a walk or that type of thing. And I don't know, did you want to say anything about that, Kelly?
I have a question first, and I asked you about this. Does the Conservation Commission have a mission statement?
Somewhere.
It's-
Yeah,
I
they
looked
It's
on
supposed to be on the
webpage,
webpage is where it
it's
doesn't have much on it.
So
Huh.
that would be helpful for me with like my educational background to know.
Mhm.
And I think kind of going off of what Cliff was saying about the importance of the trail network and I think it would be really great if this commission could do monthly, maybe, if that's not too ambitious, activity or event to just bring awareness, like
Mhm.
maybe at the town cleanup, have a table. These are all just coming to my mind right now. I haven't really thought too much about it. And then I would love to like a casual drop in, go for a walk and maybe go check out the whatever, like here's where this trail is supposed to go, so it's not intruding on private property, and then casually like name off some plants along the way, and or maybe like once a month walk sections of trail and
I think that's a great idea. And there are so many things that we've done, like there could be a walk to the Greenbelt parcel and someone could explain
Mhm.
what's going on with the Snowsbrook, and, you know, I'd be happy to walk us to the Beaver area that we went through a couple years ago and talk about what went on there, and plants are everywhere. I think that's a great idea.
And another.
Kind of like a trolley tour.
Yeah.
I
it's
think
like-
that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I think there are a lot of people that maybe, don't have a clue about these things, but
Mm.
also maybe have heard a little bit, but don't know anything about it.
And I think there's people looking for things to do.
Yeah.
Especially like during the
Well,
week
and
and.
I think we
you know,
should
couple
foster
hours, so-
selling native plants and trees. We did that every spring in Michigan. They sent
did
out a
it.
tree order
Our
and
garden club
native
in Westwood
plants
did the same
order,
thing.
and,
Yeah.
you know, if we had, get the school
Right.
involved.
But back to Jenny's comment on educational walks, that's what the
Yeah,
AIA has been
Ah,
pushing more and more
right.
towards these, what we call walk talks, where
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
have someone
Yeah.
do a planned
Yeah.
walk on some topic.
but they're
And-
charging.
Well, it depends on
Correct.
who does it. And if we
Okay.
bring someone in and they charge, yes, but this is something where the two organizations could easily
Mhm.
work together in terms of activating their respective memberships.
Mhm.
And in our case, just the town as a whole, to go for a walk once a month would be fantastic. To some chosen
Mhm.
favorite location, trail section,
Yeah.
and talk about some topic.
Can I make a point of change? When we had Tom Gross talk at the Historical Society, which I'm on now as well. They never thought about putting out a donation box. Everything has been for, we supply the food and everything else. Well, this time they did it. I convinced them they did it. And we collected over $200 just from donations that night from his talk. And they had never, ever done that before with all the other talks they had had. So I think if it's a donation as opposed to a charge, just like last night with the kids at the school, it was a
Yeah.
donation. And if you get a lot out of it, you know, it's worth throwing money in the bin.
Helps, yeah.
weekday, weekends.
It'd have to be weekends, unless summertime. Summertime would be different.
I think weekdays are good too, though. It
Yeah.
Depends on who we're trying
Yeah,
to target. I
summer,
think we're probably
right.
trying to target more local residents than we are
Mm.
visitors, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Make them more aware.
Yeah.
Sounds
to
good,
handle
but I
that.
think that with the WVAIA too, it could be a combination of the Conservation Commission, a representative or something, or,
You didn't
John
go
and
to
I could talk
WVA.
about
yeah,
that.
that's a good idea. I mean, I remember I went on
You haven't?
one with Nat
It's good.
Scrimshaw.
It's good.
And he has a lot of great ideas about trail connectivity and these topics that Cliff was talking about. So it's another
Mhm.
resource. We have a lot of resources around here in terms of guest speakers too, so.
Well, and the thing is, most
I
people
bought
in the
my
valley,
waders.
when they come here, they have some interest in hiking
Mhm.
or snowshoeing or something, but they like to get out on the trails.
Mhm.
And the AIA, for various reasons, has not been able to offer sort of guided outings as often as they used to,
Mhm.
but there is still a lot of interest in it.
Mhm.
And to whatever extent, either or both organizations can encourage more kind of community outings. What a great way to get to know, that's how we get to know most of the people we know in the valley is through hikes.
Yep.
And so the more we can do, the rec department's doing it all the time, so let's get together and collaborate and get these things scheduled as often as possible.
Also, the Nordic skiers groups are doing it every Wednesday too.
Not now.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they,
are?
yeah,
They
they're
are.
still meeting,
Yes,
yeah.
they're,
Didn't cover.
yeah.
It's not skiing, they, so.
No, it's
I-
hiking. They do hiking.
I lead the
every
Nordic Silver Streaks in the winter, and then, right now Deborah Wenger is the unofficial
Organizer.
ex officio leader, the non-leader leader, or whatever you wanna call it. But so you just brought something to mind about worth these organizations and taking people out on hikes and walks. I wonder about liability, if we would need to have waivers, or if it's just like a casual
That's a
community
good point.
Yeah,
kind of thing, and that brings it when it might be nice to do it through the rec department, which
Mhm.
starts kind of blurring lines for me, but it's something I'll figure out for myself. Because they have all of that already
You're right.
liability
Yeah.
things, so
okay,
Good point.
sign up with,
And
I can,
we used to do that. We'd have
Yeah.
a note
Yep.
board, yeah.
Before we get off native plants, I've been putting the little flyer in the post office again. There's a little leaflet about native plants and connections. Well, websites that you can go to, so.
thank you.
And when I took them in, Tony said, oh, good, people have been asking.
Oh,
So,
good. That's
I
good.
mean, I was shocked.
Good, good.
That's good.
Yeah,
Well, did you succeed in putting it on our website too?
I thought I
I did
did
it,
that.
I'm pretty sure I saw it on
Did
there,
you
I was
see it?
looking to see if there was a
Okay.
mission statement, I'm pretty sure I saw
Okay.
it there.
And you saw no mission statement?
I did not see a mission statement, I saw the land acknowledgement, but I did not see a
There's-
mission statement.
Hmm,
Yeah,
I
so
thought we had one.
that's actually one of our bullet points
Okay,
here too, is to work, to think about that.
Improving
Uh,
town.
So I think
And
if I gather, we've covered like primarily the relationship between the native plants, the trails, which I had you down for,
Yeah.
John.
Yep.
So we've covered that, and also the coordination with WVAIA, which,
Yep.
so I think we were able to cover those three bullets together.
Good.
And maybe unintentionally, but we did it, so.
I have just one more comment
Yep.
about the trails, if I may. So the board, the AIA board voted to extend the Mad River Trail on the north side.
Yeah.
mm,
It will follow the river between the river and the access road to the well.
Yep.
So that's gonna be a little extension of that trail going.
Like the
along.
connector, like where the connector is?
No, no.
no,
no, this is across the road.
It-
towards the
it
rock,
goes,
towards the,
you're talking to Livermore.
No, no.
This is
No,
the
no.
Mad River Trail.
Yep,
So
You
you got,
cross
you
the
got a
road.
south end and a north end.
yep.
Well, at the north end, when you come out onto the service road,
Yep.
they're gonna, rather than going out to the service road, they're gonna extend that trail. So it comes out way further closer to the bridge
Okay,
area.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
okay, that's good.
nice.
So that was voted on, that's gonna happen this year. And I think that was about it, Charles, right? There's
think
any
so.
other- Yeah, so just wanna make you aware of that.
Can I ask a question? Did the resort get approval for the cross-country trails to come down off of,
Not yet.
oh, so you're,
Off of-
good, Jenny, you keeping on top of
If
it?
anybody else wants to write a letter.
I'm with you. I don't want it to come through.
Off what?
What, the-
To come through, I keep.
From Moose Run down
Moose
to
Run
Deep
down
Woods.
by where the dam
oh,
on to Livermore.
Red Feather
feather,
Trail.
the red.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they're not
Old Red
using the
Feather
Red
Trail.
Feathers Trail, they're using a brand new
They
pathway.
would do
Oh,
a
yeah.
new,
Yeah,
new trail.
Brand
they
new.
determined that it was too sensitive to go in by their.
It is,
Okay,
it's
Yes,
too
which it
wet.
was, Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'll find an exotic plant.
So it's still going on,
An
Jenny.
endangered
Go
plant.
out, let's go
Yeah,
find an
go
exotic
find
one.
Yeah, let's,
Yeah.
birds
no,
too, and
it's-
ducks, big insects, salamanders, we'll
Yeah.
get them.
Else.
Salamanders are good.
Seriously,
Some sort of bird,
yeah.
any birders in the valley?
Yeah,
Jeannie Dunn.
Warren,
Yeah,
Warren is a big birder, right?
Is he?
yeah, the Slobodniks are,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
we got him.
Let me,
No, I
Jenny,
mean, it's a fait accompli.
send me a note so I could write a letter.
Okay, I'll send you a link.
Definitely, I don't want to see it come through.
Yeah,
Wow.
mostly because, sorry, this is a total digression. They're gonna do what they did on, what's the other one? Rough Rider.
Riffraff,
Oh,
They're gonna cut everything and just leave it all in place.
right.
and they didn't use it.
It's because it's too complicated and expensive to organize a timber sale. which is what they would have to do if they remove the timber. So
Oh.
and to promote biodiversity in the forest, leave it in place for animals to use. And
And
that's
fire.
like, that's the line you get from the Forest Service, but.
Plus also to get their vehicles down for great.
But it just creates another deadwood fire, it
Mhm.
just adds to
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the website, let's go to that. So Kelly just brought up the fact that there's like no real mission for the Conservation Commission written up on their website. Should we put together maybe a punch list or set of ideas that we would like to see for improvements to the website? And then maybe dish out, they can kind of work through the content on how we should update that.
I think if we don't have a mission statement, we
better
should,
be
Probably.
maybe we
definitely
should all kind
creating
of just
one.
brainstorm a
Yeah.
couple lines and.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Bring it.
think if years ago, we used to put the mission statement in the section in the annual, the yearly booklet that we put
The
together.
annual report,
The
yeah.
annual report, maybe not this year, because I don't remember writing it, but maybe years ago.
I thought
and then
I'd
it
seen it
fell apart.
somewhere.
I don't think so.
No.
Never saw it, never?
Uh-uh. Must
I
be
haven't.
another
remember.
conservation mission that I.
Some other
I read
towns
something.
like
I thought, oh, that's nice.
Sure, there's plenty of ideas for mission statements of other conservation
Okay.
commissions too, so
What-
maybe we can think about that. I can write something up, send out,
Yeah.
and then we can think about it for the next meeting.
Right.
And work on maybe
Yeah.
making the website a little more. Give people reason to go there, I guess.
Be Chippewa nature
At least we have a
center.
stewardship statement,
I know.
also known as the land acknowledgement.
Right,
So-
right. Seeing that this was on the agenda, I emailed Barbara Richter, is it, at the
Mhm.
NH
Yeah, the
New Hampshire Association of
Yep.
Conservation Commissions, and I asked her, do you have
Yeah.
any small towns that you could recommend, like we visit their website to get ideas for,
Yes,
what
great
content they
ideas.
have? Anyway,
Yeah.
she sent me back literally 400 towns, the links to all the websites, so I haven't gone through.
Okay,
I just briefly clicked on Hebron,
Yeah.
which is another small.
yeah,
Yep.
Hebron,
town
yeah,
here.
yeah.
And then today I was visiting a friend in Sugar Hill. That's another small little town. I don't know if they have
Mhm.
their own. So I was just gonna look at some of the smaller towns,
Yes.
because we don't need like a,
No.
City of Laconia Conservation Commission website.
Good
So just
idea,
the-
thank you.
And I can sift through and forward those
Yeah.
to you
Perfect.
guys.
That's a
Okay.
good
See
idea.
what-
That'd be
good.
Screen
Really
screen
good.
them,
Yeah.
send off what you like.
Hebron is kind of like us. It's like based on the town website and then just a bunch of links underneath
Mhm.
it. So
Yeah,
it's just pretty simple.
Nice.
Excellent.
Good idea.
And then
If you notice a design of a site that looks a little sleeker,
yeah,
for lack of a better term, than ours. And you notice some functionality that is added that we don't currently have, can you keep mind of that? Because we're scheduled to update
Mhm.
our.
This summer, yeah.
I think either July or August, into a new,
Mhm.
more customizable kind of
Oh, good.
so I'm not a website designer, but something that's a little more user friendly for us, because we have to do a lot of duplication of efforts when we want to post things. And this is supposed to streamline things, and it's
Yes,
also
absolutely.
supposed to give us some added functionality with respect to technology.
Okay, that
So
sounds great.
if you see something like, ooh, that's cool.
That would be nice to have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
incorporate.
oh, got a lot on the agenda, wow.
All right, so everybody's in agreement on that, so we'll come up with some ideas to
Mhm.
get people, maybe. Get people to have a reason to go to our website, and when they
We
do go,
discussed-
when they do go, they can,
Yeah,
They
Didn't we
can find
discuss
some-
this like 6 months ago? We talked about, or
We
maybe a
did.
year ago.
We're really gonna do it.
now we're gonna do it. Action plan. All right, so it's 2:00, so you want to give us 2 words on the,
Yes, I have.
on the Earth Day
A
events?
few words. So this year, we coordinated with the rec department, the schools, and the town to build 2 small gardens on the corner of Packard's and Valley Road.
Right.
I thought it was a great success, nice small start. Becca, thank you and Jenny, thank you for your hard work.
And Cindy.
And John and I can confirm that they did an amazing job.
These two.
These two-
Supervising.
These 2 supervise.
They did a great job.
I think you did some heavy lifting, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, just
John
teasing.
had a knife. Like,
Yeah, that's right. I handed you the knife.
Too many bosses I left.
Yeah.
A couple, we moved a
Yeah,
couple
thank you.
bags,
Yeah.
heavy soil bags.
Oh, yeah,
too.
we
Yeah.
lifted some bags.
Thank you for all the
Yeah.
contributions.
Yeah.
Very successful.
Looks
It's not
nice.
100% complete. I still have some peat moss to do, but, and the seeds that the children are planting, so they'll come out and do that. Next year, it's a surprise, but we have a plan for next year, and I think you will love it. I can't tell you. It's a
Okay.
surprise.
Can I interject? I
Yes.
talked to Brooke this morning.
Okay,
Talking about setting up a schedule we need to set up a schedule for watering.
yes,
I
Yeah.
like her
Can you?
thing.
yes, I saw
Karen,
it.
did you
I
all
saw
get
it.
this?
The watering thing.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I've already written back to her. I said
too.
that we would,
We would help-
definitely set up a schedule to make sure that those plants get watered.
Okay,
The bulbs get cut back.
Yeah.
You know what would be cool if that would have tracers on it or whatever they call and hook it up to the back of a bicycle. If you could.
I'm happy to pull it. I'd be dangerous with
Well, that-
that.
okay.
Oh, it's not, it's for pulling, it's not a bike?
Yeah, it's a push
Yeah,
bar,
yeah,
I
it's
think.
just
Yeah.
like 5-10 gallon.
Did she say how many
No.
gallons?
Smart
Here,
watering
that's-
cart with
I asked.
flat freewheels does
Let's
not.
see if she
You can
answers.
go on to the website. It's gardensedge.com, gardenersedge.com.
Okay,
That's all it says.
All right.
But the other thing, remember we talked about, and she thinks it's a good idea. The 2x4 pressure treated.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
She does think it's a good idea, and what she recommended is the one that's closest on this side. She measured that the mower could get through. She thought that if we did it on 3 sides and allow for soil to be put in there and flowers, be it seeds or whatever, and on the side that's closest to Terry's plot, put it against the
Metal?
metal of the
Okay.
thing,
Oh,
she said. And we should do it on the other one. She thought it was a great idea and we should do it.
Okay.
She went out and measured. What was it? Yeah, that was that on the planting,
awesome.
Okay.
okay?
Thank you.
Will you take care of that, John? You said you would do that, measure and do that?
sure.
That'll be great for those. The other one can be all 4 sides because it's not being allowed, it won't allow, or I'm sorry, will allow the mower to go by.
Mhm.
But she would rather see it that way, she said,
Okay.
because those are very flimsy and cheap, she said.
Yep,
That's why they put them in the ground as well, she
Yep.
told me.
Yeah.
yep.
So, and I am donating the big trough that I have.
Oh, she'll take that.
She said she would
Good,
take
good.
it and she's gonna figure out where she would like it.
Okay, great.
So
And
Good.
that thing is 20 gallons.
20, that's
Yeah.
good, we'll
I
need it
can-
for those.
15 seconds for a 5-gallon bucket to fill. So that's pretty,
Pretty good.
yeah.
Hmm.
Hose length is 5 feet.
I think that's a good idea. We can fill it up at the school and just bring.
It says 15 seconds for a
That's a fire
5-gallon bucket.
How was that?
Stand back.
Wow.
Okay,
All right.
yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Ooh, it's an all-in-one rain barrel, so we could leave this.
Outside.
I
Even
miss
better.
the rain barrel. We used to
Even
have a
better.
rain
I-
barrel.
Is there any risk though that the people who water the other plot will actually water the other ones too? So is there a risk of overwatering?
No.
No, especially in the summer if it's dry. I mean, I don't know how Terry,
That other
I don't know how she
area,
does
the planting area gets watered too.
I think
Terry-
it's
It'll
perennials.
percolate down so fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
It's-
we'll figure it
It's
out.
baking in the sun.
All
all
right,
day
so we'll
long.
do our
Good.
rain watering plan. Okay, good, excellent.
Yeah, early morning and maybe evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, is there any other new business that we need to?
Charles, you
I
wanted
wanna
to
bring
talk
up-
privilege of the
I
floor?
will make it very brief because
Cause yeah.
I also have a couple of things too.
Okay. Regarding the Greenbelt lot 32C, which I walked through again
Yep.
yesterday. I won't.
Oh, that's-
do
You
all
were just
the
a
ideas
little-
of living here, But I would encourage everybody, walk into it, go to the
Yeah.
south end of it, where the bridge is.
Yep.
Over
Yeah,
Snows
when-
River.
I did, I
It's
walked
just
down.
a little ways
Yeah.
north of that. Follow the cross country trail just veer off to the left. It's fairly obvious where the trail goes in. A little ways in, you'll see our really nice sign that we nailed up to the tree a year or so ago. It's really a lot. What I did was, a year or two ago, I went in and made my own little simple path partway into that because I wanted to explore it. And so it was very low impact path. And the first part of it follows along the bank, and it is just beautiful. It is really a lovely spot.
Pretty spot.
Nice overlook of Snows Brook, beautiful. There's a towering pine tree at the south end of it. So walk part of that, and you can go part way. I think it's about halfway up the length of the lot before you start to, the trail peters out. I didn't go any farther. And there are different ways. I mean, it would be a simple enough matter really to put the trail all the way through. John asked if I was going to finish that. Depends. I mean, I've already worked out a rough route that I would like to take myself. And most of that, if you haven't walked through this lot, most of it is wetland. Most of it is muck. You'd get in trouble. I mean, you could go down, you might never be seen again. But it's pretty impressive wetland, and there is a strip of dry land. Part of it is maybe as wide as this room that goes between the river and the muck level. And you can just walk that northward between the two. And it's environmentally a very interesting place between the wetland on the right, which I think may have been an old Snows Brook riverbed, and the current on the right. And you can walk part of the way through. And then it gets into, as you get near the bridge, the embankment of the bridge, there's no more path. You can keep going, and it gets thicker and brushier, and will become more of a problem as the ticks and the bugs come out. But you can come out at the other end where we have our big sign. And so the question I would say, everybody should just be aware of that. Go look at it. It's our lot. Just see what we've got there. It is an overflow for Snows Brook flooding, and that it's an important part, and that's great. But it also has a lovely, it's just a nice place to see and walk through. And whether or not, what I think we should think about, and I suggested this in my email yesterday, do we want to keep this a secret, or do we want to make it, we want to invite the community to be more aware of this? And that depends on how we want to develop this trail or not develop it. I have not gone any farther than the first half of it, which didn't, clippers is all I used. But if we wanted to go farther, there are different ways we could do it. And that would be if we want to bring this to the attention of the community, put it on the website and so forth, or not. And we're not going to do anything about this, I'm sure, farther this year, but I think we should be aware of it as commissioners. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Charles. Yeah, just, I would advise, it's a good place to go walk, but I would advise to do it before the black flies come out. They were pretty bad last year when I was in there. So anyway, okay, Cindy, did you want to go on here? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
I'm concerned about fertilizer. I think we need to make it aware that I think we should have, if we could, some sort of I don't know if you do an ordinance or what, to use organic fertilizers as opposed to the commercial fertilizers.
For town properties, individuals.
All the way around. All the way around. We're not doing our environment any good by by using commercial fertilizers, as far as I'm concerned. There's enough natural fertilizer and components to go with that I don't think it's necessary. And on that too, sprinkler systems, which is
That should be a no, and why?
It
why
should
do
never
they
have
yards here
been
if
allowed to
they live in
begin
the
with.
forest?
I've been here almost 30 years. I don't have a sprinkler system. My grass stays green naturally, and if it dies, it comes back.
Yeah.
Right, doesn't die.
Would you like to see that added as one of our potential educational topics?
I do. I think
Okay,
it would be
good.
advantageous for people to know.
Okay, What-
This just prompts me, I'm gonna look into what's going on with this, but the state passed a new regulation about fertilizer use and they were coming up with guidelines to disseminate to municipalities, and I want to see where that is. I don't remember.
Has it passed?
Yes.
It has
it's definitely
passed?
been
Okay.
passed. But it's like in the hands of the people that are coming up with the guidelines now, and I don't know if that's D. I don't know who that is, so.
Cause that's all I use, even my garden beds, holly tone, all the natural products, blood,
Mhm.
you know, kelp, all that.
It
So you
has
want
to
to
do
take the
with,
lead
like-
on that?
Sure.
Maybe some bullet points or
Yep.
things like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Cause we can always use these educational items to help the community understand and be more active, I guess, in these type of areas, so.
And
Some of that
sprinklers,
stuff could go in the
Without
green
being too
corner
preachy.
too, in the wigwag.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, let me get up something and then we can put it in there. But the sprinkler systems, I mean, last summer, the new ones over
Big condos,
Green
ridiculous.
24/7,
Yeah.
7, it was like ridiculous.
Mhm.
And it's our well water that we
Yeah.
drink,
Town water.
town water.
They
You
were-
gotta do
Mark said
something.
They were addressing that, but I don't know if it has been addressed.
Steve, do you know if there's anything on the agenda that they're going to stop besides a meter for it?
They had discussed a charge for irrigation systems. To be incorporated at some point this year into the water and sewer bills.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot more discussion that needs to happen around those because you have the condos. I think
Right.
initially the select board was thinking, oh, this will be easy, we can just institute a fine, or not a surcharge for individual homeowners who have irrigation systems. And that'll be done. As they started to discuss it further, we've got commercial properties with them, we have the condos now who have them. So does the surcharge apply to every single unit that's in those condos? So they're still trying to understand what that might look like. Might have another idea, so stay tuned.
Yeah,
I just, we're not suburbia.
you
You
may
know.
have to bring this up at the select board meeting.
I have
See what their
before.
updates have.
Yep.
Yeah, heard you.
But I'll go again.
But again,
It just, it's our drinking water.
Yes.
It's our use. The
All right.
wells get dry, who knows?
So we'll hold off, since Mark is not here, we'll hold off on the wastewater treatment facility update. The update to the hazard mitigation process and other items that Mark may have, so we'll just put that on the agenda for next time.
Mhm.
It'll get recycled anyway, so we'll do that. And is there anything for the privilege of the floor? Let's move on to that.
I think that's what we
That
just.
was
Just
Okay.
what we did.
Yeah, okay.
You
It's
may-
good enough. I was calling out other business as needed,
Oh.
but yeah, okay, so nothing else on the privilege of the floor. There's
Steve was
nobody,
gonna say
Steve.
something.
You may want to keep both of those bullet points on for your next agenda,
Right.
but I just have a brief update on the wastewater treatment plant. You might have heard of some tree clearing that was happening on the land that we acquired from Tyrell about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Over
oh,
here,
this,
That's finished.
oh, that's.
Oh,
So
okay.
the one path of tree clearing that we needed to do has been completed.
okay,
And that tree clearing is so that a company can come in 2 weeks and do some borings to see what's actually underneath that
Oh, okay.
property. See if there's hard packed ledge or boulders under there.
okay.
Mhm.
So it was very low disturbance over there. You wouldn't probably even notice it if you.
Yeah, I just walked there yesterday and I was like, wow, is that it? Are they done?
Yeah, they're done.
good.
Go away, Mark.
I
It seemed like it was
went
gonna be
up
really-
Good,
Originally, they were thinking it was.
Okay,
That's it for now.
yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
Excellent, thanks, Steve. Okay, is everybody all right with the next meeting, date of May 22nd at 1 PM?
Becca's gonna be gone.
I will be making paper.
Oh, I won't be. I got graduation up at Colby.
So we'll be activating some alternates.
So we'll have 3 alternates to activate.
Yeah. Ooh,
All right.
whoa.
Is that okay?
Can you guys step up?
You're gonna have to step up.
We'll see if we can keep it.
All right, so we have a full slate of alternates. We'll just, we'll keep the meeting date since we have this very full slate of capable alternates. Does that sound good?
Right?
May
Yeah.
All right, so, all right, so Patrick, did you want to add anything, or is this gonna be are you stepping out after this meeting, or are you staying on a little longer? Or-
He's not there.
It's already
Okay.
happened.
We're gonna say thank you. We were gonna say thank you if this was your last meeting, but
Might be
you're
on a call.
obviously welcome
Oh,
to
he could-
hang around. Okay. All right, so we'll stick with the next meeting on May 22nd. Everyone's good with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion?
Second.
Second.